Judge, you're muted, just for your information.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I don't know how that happened. It's a preset. So let me check one setting.
You hear me?
Can everyone hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So I'm actually going to keep folks muted until it's your turn, but you will have an opportunity when it's your turn to ask questions and speak. I do want to thank everybody for their time. I'm going to repeat myself since I was apparently muted. Thank you for your time. I do want to kind of review and make sure that we're all on the same page about the expectations I have and how court works. This is online court. It is, you're always able to set your case and come in and talk here. This is a relatively convenient platform, so we're continuing to use it where it works. Okay, so let me just talk a little bit about how things move through a court. And we are working through two lines. One is the line for the prosecutor. I'll talk more about that in a moment. And the other is my line. And everybody needs to talk to me today before you go. But I do want to just kind of let you know or lay out how things work in terms of a court, how things move through a court. So when you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all methods that we have under the law for accusing someone. That is what a ticket is, or a summons is, or we don't do indictments in Class C courts, but those are all methods of accusation. And when you give a plea, you're giving an answer or a response to that accusation. There are three options for pleading: guilty, not guilty, no contest, and the law presumes we're not guilty. Prior to entering a plea or having a plea accepted by the court, if you wish to invoke your right to an attorney in the Class C setting, you take a break, a recess. I reset your case to another day. Okay. And, then you have time to meet with someone and come back. Doesn't mean you're obligated to hire them. But the important thing to highlight is that in Class C court, you are not court appointed an attorney. Okay. So if you need that reset, if I have not yet accepted your plea, and I'll let you know the status of that. Sometimes people don't realize they've marched right by that. For example, sometimes people just pay their ticket online, and the law authorizes that you can do that, but then you've entered a plea when you do that. That's the law. So I will walk you through where your case is. Everybody's case is going to be a little bit different. Okay. But let's talk about those pleading options. If you plead guilty, you're admitting that you committed the offense. Not guilty means you're contesting it. It really means state prove your case. And I'll talk more about the direction that takes in a moment, because it splits off into a different direction. And if you plead no contest, you're authorizing the court, to find you guilty without admitting or denying the offense. So guilty and no contest means I'm working with your sentence. Not guilty means I'm pushing that case, facilitating it towards a trial. Folks are here on the not guilty docket, and you'll meet with the prosecutor. That happens as a breakout room. The reason why we have that breakout room is it is actually important for your rights that the judge not be part of a fact conversation regarding your case. For example, just think about it this way. What if you came into court and I was talking to the officer that issued your ticket, and when you walked in, I said, "Don't worry, I already heard all about it." Like, that would be wrong. Actually, it's wrong in so many ways, but that would be wrong. So we have that conversation separate, because y'all might talk about facts, y'all might not. You're not required to, but if you do, I shouldn't be part of it, because when you come to trial, you need a neutral judge, fair, neutral, and impartial. So we protect that. So there are always these small little things that add up to a big deal if they're not done. And they're probably not noticeable if we're following them. So just be aware that, there's a lot of protocols we're following, and it really comes down to protections you have under the law. And we're going to honor those. And I know what they are. Okay, so that's a breakout room, and we're going to start that in a moment. If you plead guilty or no contest, or if you've already entered a plea and we're in a sentence, I'm working with you. Now, guilty or no contest, we move into sentencing. And there are, the general rule in law is that you're found guilty, it goes on your record, you pay the fines and costs. Now, let's back up into that. Paying fines and costs, I look at your financial information in connection with sentencing. On the not guilty docket, I also look at it in connection with the bond amount that you might post for trial or that you could be held responsible for not showing up. And so I ask for that information for a lot of different reasons. In the guilty or no contest scenario, I'm looking at it in terms of sentencing and seeing what feels appropriate, what appears appropriate when I sit in judgment, which is different from, there's two ways judges function, and that's one of them. And I'll look at those situations that you've written down for me and try to take it into consideration. So payment is something that can change a little bit. Okay. When you called the clerk, you probably got a number and said, how much is this ticket? You were given like a number, but at the beginning of your sentence, I can look at that. Okay. There are varying points where I can look at what's happening there. So I will do that automatically. Now, the next thing is, I said, it goes on your record. There are 4 exceptions to having an item go on your record. And I'm going to tell you the list of ways to gain a dismissal, because this is all we've got in Class C court. There aren't secret ones that I'm not going to tell you about. I can't apply it to your case right now and tell you what you should do, but I can tell you the things that are available, the options that you need to understand. So I'll tell you what they are quickly. I'll tell you how they work quickly, and then we're going to move forward. So into just working on cases, but there are compliance dismissals, driver safety course options, deferred dispositions, and teen court. Compliance dismissals are things that the law says can be brought up to date and dismissed. That's stuff like your blinker was broken and you were cited for your blinker being broken, and then you fixed it. You brought in proof of repair and pay a $10 fee on time. You get a dismissal. There's about 12 of those. They're mostly in the equipment level of the traffic code. I will be looking to see if you have something like that. You are welcome to ask about it. I'm not going to wait for you to ask. I'm going to look and see if we can get you there, because the law says the judge shall. So that's a marching order for me, and I'll do that. The second way to gain a dismissal is on moving violations if you qualify to be in a driver safety course option. Mr. James Judy, you're driving. I'm going to ask you to pull over safely. I'll let you back in the meeting once you've done so, but I can't have you on screen driving. It's actually an offense to do that. Call back. Okay, so please don't drive on the screen. It's actually not right. And we don't want to watch you have an accident. It's fine. I know people are at work, they step out to their car, but driving and being on a screen looking is actually, at minimum, it's distracted driving. Okay, so what I want to do is then just get back to the moving violation that I was talking about. If you've got a moving violation, I'll look to see if you're qualified to be in the driver safety course option. That one will save you money and it will keep the item off your record. Every ticket, when you call that clerk and get that number, every ticket you were given like a whole number, like 265, and 145 approximately dollars of that are the court costs. And then the fines are the rest of it. The court costs are set by the Texas legislature, which I am not. I can't control what they do. So those have to get paid, and they get paid first. And that money does not stay locally. That money goes to the state of Texas, to the general fund. The fine, when and if you pay it, stays in Temple. It doesn't go to the police department or the court, and we pay it here, but it goes into the general fund, and your governing body, your council, and your finance department, they decide how that money gets spent. So, I mean, that's just a little 101. But in the moving violation context, why that matters is you pay the court costs. The fine goes on hold, and then you pay for your course, you pay for your driving record, the proper course, the proper record. You get the course done, you get your driving record completed, you turn it in on time, your ticket gets dismissed. It's not a conviction on your record. The fine that was on hold gets waived. Yes, you pay for the court costs, the class, and the record, but that number is less than the whole ticket, and it keeps it off your record. So it's a pretty good deal. And we incentivize that deal in the state of Texas. I like to hope for a reason and not just arbitrary. The reason that is articulated when I researched this is that people drive better after they do that course for a little while. And Texas is the #1 state for death and dismemberment on our roadways. If you're a kid, if you're 25 and under, you are the super group. And we kill more people in Texas. And we kill more young people than any other state. So that's the driver safety course option. Okay. I'll talk to you about it. What I'll be doing is looking and see if you might be qualified. And if you are, then I will go ahead and try to work with you on how we're going to proceed. Okay. So you can expect that. Now you're welcome to ask questions about these things, but on those first two options, I'm not waiting for you to ask. I'm looking. Okay. The third option, though, is called a deferred disposition. Deferred means to delay. Disposition means to make final. I delay, I take your plea, I put it here. I delay making your case final. I don't convict you. I put an order in place. It's a sheet of paper with a list of things for you to do. If you do those things that are written and listed that you agree to, at the end of your deferral period, I dismiss your ticket. So it doesn't go on your record. Here's the trick on that one. You have to request when you enter your plea, guilty or no contest, I'd like a deferred. Boom, you're in. Then the judge can say, I'm granting it or I'm not granting it without explanation. Okay. But the judge is required to consider when you ask, okay, each time. So I don't have preset, well, I never granted on these. I always granted on these. I have some things that are generally a thumbs up, and I have some things that I'll always consider. And the bigger thing with me is some things I want a class on, you know, I might require a class depending. But you ask. You can also ask the prosecutor. The prosecutor is not required to agree. If you and the prosecutor come to an agreement and bring me that agreement, I'm generally going to sign off on those agreements. It is unusual for a judge to not sign off on an agreement between the two parties that have the controversy before the court. So generally, I'm going to sign that, but you have to negotiate if you're trying to do that with the prosecutor. There's always trying to sort out your fines and costs, whether there's a class, record, course, something like that due. There's a good behavior piece. Don't get any more citations. Don't get arrested. Don't get warrants. Okay. Keep your address current. And at the end of the deferral, which is up to 6 months, I, impose a good behavior plus conditions, and then you get your case dismissed. So it's a known outcome. So you must request it, though. It's not one I'm asking you. It's one where you ask the court. So that's how that one works. And then our final one is teen court. Folks who are high school, middle school, or homeschooled are probably eligible to be in teen court. It looks a little like a deferred, but it's different in the sense that the emphasis is on young people being responsible rather than parents paying a ticket. Okay, so if you're in school, I will be pushing that. All right, so that's the 101. I don't have hidden secret ways to dismiss. Once a charge is filed, judges can't just throw cases out. They must meet the criteria of one of these things, or if the prosecutor makes a recommendation for dismissal. So, and that's as much to protect you as it is me. So I take that quite seriously. Okay, Mr. Matson, your first person should be Ms. McHorse, who is here with Darling Decor and more. Ms. McHorse, can you unmute?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to move you to the meeting with Mr. Matson after I have him introduce himself. Mr. Matson, could you introduce yourself to the general session?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ryan Masson. I'm the prosecutor for Temple.
Thank you so much. The prosecutor functions just like a district attorney in a district or county court. So he basically has the authority over the cases that are filed here. They are technically considered to be that person's cases. Ms. McHorse, I'm moving you over to that meeting with him. Y'all will come back at the end. And I want to let Mr. Armstrong back in, see if we can get him moving. While that is happening, let me ask, there's a few people that I'm not completely sure who you are, and that's fine. We'll sort it out. I'm asking a person with a red t-shirt to unmute. Motorola Moto G Play. Can you tell me who you are?
Yes, I'm Brian Chavis.
Brian
I'm
Chavis.
wrong. Brian Chavis.
I heard you the first time. I just, it didn't say that. So I changed it on the screen in order to be able to keep track of you so that I don't lose track of you or your case.
Okay.
And it'll change back when you hang up today. There's an iPhone with a series of numbers, gentleman with a long white beard and mustache and glasses. Can you unmute and tell me your full name, please? Sorry, you'll have to unmute. I can't hear you yet.
Charanjit Singh Sandhu.
Thank you, Mr. Sandhu. I'll do my best to keep your name clear in my mind. And again, it just will change for the meeting. When you hang up, it'll go back to what it was. A younger person, kind of a goatee blue t-shirt or blue shirt, iPhone. Can you tell me your name? Yes.
Irvin Zavala.
Thank you. We'll be with you soon. iPhone 13 Pro Max, t-shirt, white t-shirt, also a goatee, but a mustache. Your name?
Cameron Williams.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Perez, for fixing that. And I think that's it. Okay, Mr. Mattson, I'm just trying to move Ms. McHorse back over.
Before you do that, Judge, I actually popped back over here to see Ms. McHorse was reset at our last pretrial hearing because you asked that she submit a new financial affidavit.
Okay.
See if she was eligible for community service. And she just told me that she sent in the information last night.
She did. I have it. But what she wrote was it just varies. She didn't really, it doesn't add up to something I can understand. Oh, there's another email. Hold on. And I think I did move her back over before I knew. Move it the other direction. So yeah, I get the expenses, but I see. There's her sale. Okay. Yes, she would be.
Okay. Then I'm going to go
Yeah.
back over there with her and we're going to discuss things.
Okay, Ms. McHorse, you're going to have to move yourself back over to that meeting. There should be, if you kind of highlight your screen with your cursor, a way to push yourself back over. Can you do that? It looks like it worked. Brilliant. Hopefully that did work. I'm waiting for it to happen. Very good. Okay. All right. So if I could go ahead and begin, Desiree Martinez, can you unmute and tell me how you're doing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
No problem.
Okay. So the thing is, you had made a request for a deferred and I granted it. I showed an inability to pay, so I ordered community service instead of payment.
Yes, ma'am.
It wasn't returned signed. So, that becomes, a case that could head to warrant. Like it's not a very helpful, we're not getting anywhere. I'm glad you're here. So, because we want to sort it out. I'm showing that you feel like it would be difficult to do community service, which I'm willing to look at with you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm also showing though that it's not possible to do payment. I also typically require insurance when I grant deferrals because I want to know that the person isn't going to be uninsured through the deferral period. But your statement to me written was that you couldn't pay for insurance.
Well, it's not that I can't pay for the insurance, it's that in the terms, it was asked that I have 3 months prepaid insurance, which that's a $600 plus drop. I mean, like, that's pretty impossible. The insurance that I have, it's through a company called Hugo, and it's like a pay as you go type insurance. So I can pay for like 3 days, 2 weeks, 3 months. It's very adjustable, so if I, for instance.
I don't want to do a court order where you
Okay.
come up every week and show insurance.
Okay,
So I mean, I'm willing to loosen that up a little bit and take into account the situation.
yes, ma'am. I
Like
understand that.
you would bring in a month at a time as opposed to 3 months at a time.
Okay, I could do that probably, yeah.
I can give you 30 days.
Okay,
But if I'm going to grant the deferral, I mean, there are conditions I'm going to be requiring.
I understand.
So, on the insurance. So here's what I think. Give me one moment. What are the court costs? Are they 81? Okay. Are you paying child support or are you receiving it or are you supposed to receive it?
I'm ordered to pay it. I'm behind on that. I'm trying to pay it. I paid in the child support last month. But I am behind on it.
Okay.
My ex-husband has been gracious enough to allow me to, try to catch up versus taking me to court over it or not. Because you guys should have received a document yesterday from me, but it's actually from my therapist talking about my PTSD and my anxiety. I've been unable to work a regular job for almost two years now because it's gotten out of hand.
Okay. They're pulling,
So,
sometimes I don't have everything that gets sent in last minute. And quite frankly, about everybody today almost did that. So we're scrambling to find it. If you think about maybe getting 30 emails and having to figure out where they go and scan it and get it to me. So hold on a moment because I want to look at that note and take it into account. Mr. Mattson, are we ready to bring Ms. McHorse back over?
Yes, Your Honor, we're ready this time.
Great.
do you want me to go back on mute while you deal with that, or?
Yes, ma'am, if you don't mind, just briefly.
Sure, no problem.
Back with you.
Did it work?
Okay, I'll talk to her about it. I know what we can do. Okay, let's talk about the Darling Decor case. Mr. Mattson, where are we?
Your Honor, Ms. McHorse is going to change her plea to no contest, and I am recommending that she be given community service hours to satisfy the balance.
I can order that due to the indigent status, which I did look and determine was true. It turns into 29 hours of community service. I would give you until November 6th to do that. It must be at a nonprofit. I have a list of places where you can go that are local. If you're going to leave the list and go to something different, you will have to get that pre-approved within the first 2 weeks, which would be by September 26th. I have a form for you to take to any entity that you're trying to do that with so that we can make sure they're up to date with their nonprofit status and make sure that they're willing to work with you. I do this not to stop people from doing it, but to stop people from wasting time doing something that ultimately they're not going to get credit for. And you should know you're going to get credit up front when you go spend 29 hours somewhere. So I have a list that's already pre-approved, and that's, some folks just use that. It's just to make it a little easier. Some people don't know where to start. But if you want something different, you'll have to get it pre-approved. I do need you to come by the court to sign for these documents, and that way it's a packet that you'll need to pick up today. What time can you be here?
Your Honor, I am sequestered in Austin we're currently at the Cancer Center right now. I will not be, I do have to come back into town next week, but I can't leave my husband who's just had a bone marrow transplant.
I now remember. Okay, let's think about the calendar. When will you be here next week? What day?
I should be here Wednesday of next week.
Okay, so we're gonna extend you till the 13th to come in
Okay.
and sign for that, and I will just sign that by court order. Just due to circumstances. It makes sense. I remember that we talked about this last time.
Is it an appropriate time for me to ask you about an alternative charity that I could do some work for? Or do I just need to submit that later?
Yeah, so you'll actually have, it's not really a good time now because I would need to, all I'm going to tell you is the same thing I would tell you
Okay,
anytime, which would be you need to go ahead and get that pre-approved.
okay, I will do that.
When you come in to sign, you'll have 2 weeks from that day to get back an alternative provider. And that form that you're going to get filled out with that, whoever you are trying to go to, it's self-explanatory.
Okay,
So it's going to be on the back of your list. I mean, of your instructions.
okay,
You just flip it over and there it is.
Perfect.
You use the form. So we try to make things rather
Okay.
trendy around here. And I just trust people to be adulting about everything. Okay. All right. I will conditionally hold your plea
Yes.
next week. And then I will take your plea
Thank
at that time. And you'll have community service hours due November 6th. And then it's going to be 29 hours total. And a pre-approval date of yeah, it's actually a form at the very top, and there'll be a pre-approval date by September 27th
okay,
at the top. Okay. And you'll submit that back. and
right.
I'll rule on it and you'll lock and go. Okay. All right.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Any further questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you're good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, you just hang up. Okay, Mr. Mattson, moving you forward, your next person is Gracie Rodriguez. Gracie Rodriguez, can you unmute and just let me know how you're doing so that I can make sure that your audio is working? I show you unmuted. Can you try turning your volume up? Can't hear you.
I think you might need to change your microphone, ma'am. If you look at the mute button, there should be an arrow inside of it. And if you click that arrow, it'll give you options to select a microphone. You need to make sure that the one you're using is one that's working.
While they're working on that, Ms. Martinez, Desiree, if you'll unmute and just, I looked, what we received was just a license. We didn't get the doctor note. However,
Oh, okay,
but I've got a plan. Okay.
okay,
So I'm still trying to honor the deferred request. Okay. And what I want to do is I want to get that note within a month.
okay,
And that would be by October 12th.
okay,
It's a little bit more than a month. I like to put court dates on days I'm going to be here. That way if I need to answer questions, I'm here.
Right.
But what I'm gonna do is grant your deferred. It will run from today until January 5th, 2024. During the deferral, this is gonna get rid of the one you received. We're gonna get a new one. We need a signature.
Okay,
I will want insurance October 12th, November, hold on. No, October 12th, you'll present insurance for the next month.
okay,
In November, on the 13th, you'll present insurance for that month. And in December, on the 13th, you'll present insurance for that month. That's going to be part of your, how I'm looking at your community service in a way.
okay,
By October 12th, along with that first insurance paper, I want that doctor's note.
okay. If I can explain something real quick to you, just for it to be on record. The previous court date that I had, it was missed. The paperwork that you requested were not signed and turned in.
Yeah.
Because between the time that I originally had court with the county clerk and those dates, my ex-husband got extremely ill to the point of possible death. Okay, so there was a lot going on. I've spent a lot of my time in Troy with my children. So I do know that it's my responsibility to make sure that I check my mail and whatnot. I literally was not home to actually check it.
Yeah.
So, but I just want you to know that there is that family predicament going on right now. He's in slightly better health right now, but that can literally change right now.
Okay. Listen, I get that. I've already taken that into account. I didn't know the
Okay.
details, but I know there's been stress.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, but I do need to highlight something.
Yes, ma'am.
This order, if we're going to do it,
Mm-hmm.
has deadlines.
I do understand that. Yes, ma'am.
And I am making accommodations now
Okay,
with the expectation that I will not continue to have to
right.
hold this and walk through it constantly and
Mhm.
remodify and remodify. So you're agreeing to be bound by these deadlines.
Yes,
If
ma'am.
you can't make that promise, I can't grant the deferred.
I do understand that. I just wanted it to be, on
I
record
understand,
that I
I've
spoke
done
with you
that.
about it.
Listen, I have done that.
Yeah.
But I expect something in return because we have duties within our culture,
Mhm.
like drive with insurance,
Right.
so that when we hit someone, we don't make a victim out of them.
Yes, ma'am.
And I want that insurance, and I want it more than I want fines and costs.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to get fines and costs out of you.
I understand that. I
I
appreciate
want a
that.
doctor's note instead.
Okay.
So I'm making accommodations.
Right.
But if you're not going to promise and follow through on this promise, then I don't see the point of this conversation.
I understand that. And I do have that
It's really
that-
yes or
that
no.
document. I'm sorry, what was that?
It's really yes or no. Are you
Yes,
going
ma'am.
to sign this
Yes.
document? Then what time are you going to be here to sign it? Or can I send it to you through email and have you print it, sign it, and scan it back over to us?
I can be there tomorrow.
I need it today if possible.
Oh, okay. Okay, yes.
What time can you be here today was the question.
What time is it now?
Well, right now it's
9:38. I can be there by 1:00.
okay. We'll have everything at the front desk. It won't take more than a few moments.
Okay.
And then you'll have your order with you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. You're good to go.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Mattson, let's try one more time. Gracie Rodriguez, can we hear you? you're going to have to hang up and figure out what's going on with your microphone. If you need to call in instead, there are phone directions at the bottom of the link that you were provided for calling in. I'll move you back in place for line. I won't just drop you to the end, but I need to keep the ball going here. So, okay, you're trying another way to come in. Can you unmute that other device?
Yes.
Okay, I've got you on this one. We can't do two in a room or we'll get what just happened. Okay, I can hear you now, I think. Could you speak, please?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me now?
Yes, there's a delay, but let's go ahead and try it. Mr. Matson, I'm going to move her over. You can give it a shot.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Okay, moving forward, Bernice Armstrong, if you could unmute, tell me how you're doing on the device that you've got to. It will work if they're not both sound on at the same time. So I appreciate you staying diligent. I know you've had to kind of work through, I've watched you working through some issues on the sound. But the other device that you logged into, unmute there, please. While you're doing that, I'm just reviewing the paperwork that you submitted. There a plea on the no deal with her. Bernice Armstrong. Whenever you get a chance. Okay. So now I can't see you or hear you. Okay, I'll come back to her. She's hung up, so probably working on technology. I can come back to that person. Tiana Blaine, can you unmute and tell me how you're doing?
I'm fine.
Can you get your whole face on the screen?
Yes.
I got your note. I don't have a problem with your request. But I'm glad you're on the meeting because I did want to just check in and see how long you think you might need in order to get your community service done. Just to refresh your memory, it's 36 hours and then I'm flexible on the due date, but I need to select the due date. Thank you. Let me propose the due date of November 6th.
I think that might be okay.
Are you still in treatment?
Yes, ma'am.
For how long?
I go back to the doctor on the 15th and I'll get a note from my doctor.
Right, bring me that note as well, but for now I'm going to extend you the 36 hours to November 6th. I'll send a updated payment, an updated timesheet with the new due date on it to you. You can use the old one that you still have or the new one, either one. In other words, if you have hours logged on to the old one, you don't have to redo that form. I'll take it, but I want you to have the new due dates at the very top so that you have it in writing. So we'll email that to you. Okay.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I'm just making some notes. Okay, any further questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you're good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Blaine. Okay, James Judy. I'll be right back with you. I'm sorry, I didn't see Bernice. Bernice Armstrong, let's try again. I still have you up on top.
Unmute.
There you go. You did it.
Okay. Oh, finally. Like I didn't know what was going on. Sorry.
Good deal. Okay, so there's two things. It's a stop for July 14th. There is a no insurance charge for July 14th. And I did receive a plea of guilty. I received a plea of guilty from you and a
Yes,
request
ma'am.
for a payment plan, which we'll talk about. And then I didn't
Okay.
think I received a plea. I want to ask you were also cited for no driver's license. The fines and
Yes,
costs,
ma'am.
the fines and costs are 181. How are you pleading to that charge?
I'm guilty.
Okay. I did see that you got insurance, so that's,
Yes, ma'am.
I guess I'm wondering how quickly did you get it? Was it the same day?
No, ma'am. It was the following Wednesday when I got paid.
Okay. I can do a payment plan. I don't, on your payment application, I did receive a request for $50
Yes, ma'am.
and I can do that. When can we start that?
I can do that today when I get off work.
Okay, what time would that be?
I get off at 1 p.m.
Okay, so we'll see you around 1:30.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. That's fine.
Okay. We will have everything at the front desk for your convenience when you get here.
Okay.
And it'll only take about 5 minutes, but they'll give you a list of pay dates and you just check them off as you go. If you make
Okay.
early payments or pay additional amounts, it won't be against you. It'll just
Okay.
get done. It'll get done more quickly. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Armstrong. You are good.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience.
Yes, ma'am. You did a great job. I know you
Okay.
struggled all morning. You did a good job.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And James, Judy,
I'll turn it off.
sir, thanks for your patience. Miss,
Okay. Now we can turn it off.
Yes, ma'am.
how are you today, sir?
Pretty good about yourself.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. I did receive some written information from you. And there's an expired motor vehicle registration charge. It's from July 25th of 2022. The case went to warrant. We're going to try to resolve those today. Your fines and costs are $430.30. And I did receive a no contest plea on that charge and a request for community service. Is that your plea? Is that your plea at this time?
I don't know if I'm gonna have time to do the community service. I have games every Saturday. I'm in school right now. Can I just seek like the warrant being taken off and the due date for the ticket being pushed back to like maybe December possibly?
No,
Okay.
no, you're a person who didn't show up for over a year. So I'm not going to trust dates right now.
Okay.
I have two choices before me and I'm going to let you have some input about what that looks like. Well, there's three, but I really like to take the one where you're arrested off the table. The two I'm looking at is payment of $25 a month or community service.
When would I do community service? What day will it fall on?
You'd have to pick a provider and sort that out like the adult that you are.
Okay. Let me see.
I can give you some extra time for community service. Normally, I would give you a month. I can give you 2 months. It would be 22 hours due November 6th.
22 hours. All right, can I just do the payments?
Can you start today?
I'll do community service. That's my final answer.
I'm
I'm just really busy. I have a lot going on.
I understand, but you know the answer is to don't have tickets. I mean, you don't
my
have
dad
to be
passed
here.
away last year, and I had a lot going on
Yeah,
with my
I have
family.
cancer.
was
We
back
all
and
have
forth to
things
the
that happen,
hospital.
but you're the one who drove. So when you drive, you're expected to follow the law. And when you get tickets, you're expected to appear on time. And we take letters and faxes and emails. And I do work with people, but I don't work with pushback. So choice is yours. I'm going to order community service. It's 22 hours due November 6th. I have a list. I have a list of places where you can do the work. You pick, you go. I need to know when you're coming by today to sign for this so that I can recall your warrants. Why don't
I
we?
have class.
I have
When's the latest I could come?
3. I'll order that you be here by 3.
Can I come at noon?
You can come anytime before 3.
All right, I'll come at noon.
Take care. Mr. Mattson, are we ready to move forward with Gracie Rodriguez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Rodriguez, let's unmute again. Great. Okay, let's start with Mr. Mattson. Where are we on this matter?
Judge, we're going to continue to the September 20th final pretrial,
Okay,
which is also a discovery hearing.
got it. We'll see everybody at 1 o'clock here on that date in the courtroom. Okay, Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
You have a good day.
And you too, ma'am. Okay, Mr. Mattson, I'm gonna advance you forward. Your next person is Keith McGraw. And if I could get Keith McGraw to unmute, that would be great.
See, there we go.
Perfect. Okay, let me move you over to that meeting, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You bet. I'm also looking to get Brian Chavis to unmute.
Yes, ma'am.
And how are you, sir?
Fine, I'm fine. I'm alive.
Sometimes that's a big blessing, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay, let me take a real quick look at everything. Okay, yeah, I asked to talk to you today because I do show that you could do payments. Although
Yeah.
your income isn't high, but you're managing your income very, very efficiently. You actually have plenty to work with to do that. But we've missed a payment plan before. So I just need to highlight and visit with you and make sure we stay on the same page. I can honor it. I mean, the good news is you got a warrant letter, but you didn't go to warrant. So that's good. So we just had $50 that was every 30 days. We started that due at the end of June. And I think it just didn't get, like, we failed to launch. Can we start today with $50?
I could come by there today and drop $50 off today.
Okay, and then you'll sign for it, and then it just turns into every month around this time.
Yes, I mean, I apologize to the court or whatever, that I did miss. Things come up. I had to get a new phone. My phone broke. I had to get a new one. I mean, stuff happens, and we all know that.
We do.
Telling you something that you don't know. But yeah, I can. And labor finders, and right now I'm trying to get a job at Wilson Art. So I mean, it's and they hit and miss. It's hot. It's hot. I mean, nobody wants to work. I mean, they, like a couple of days a week or a day a week sometimes. I mean, contractors, it's slow. It's been real slow. It slowed down a lot because of the heat.
Yeah.
So that's why today I will come by there and drop $50 off. And I had to miss work today to make sure I talk to you because I don't want to be in any more trouble.
Yes, I have an idea. Let's do $50 today, and then let's turn it into $25 a month. After that, and then you can always pay more and get done faster. But sometimes it's a little easier to hit them. I'm trying to make a plan that we will hit every time,
Right, I
and
understand.
even when things aren't easy. So I'm gonna lower it to that
Okay.
amount. And then if you wind up like, hey, I can pay $50, you've knocked out the following month.
Right.
And you
I
just
would-
check it off and know like my next one has to be by this date, but it
Mhm.
doesn't mean you can't pay it early. It's just paying it late that you run into problems.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that will work. So now we're kind of better communicating and we're on the same page. So we'll see you today. We'll have a new printout and just follow that printout. And if you run into trouble, come by and drop me a letter and see if I need to talk to you again or if I can make an accommodation. Okay.
Okay, so would the next few minutes would be good if I can run up there and pay it? Would it be in the computer?
Yeah, it's probably almost done now. So my clerks are really efficient over here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay, I'll say you'll be here sometime around 10 or after.
Yeah, sure.
We'll see you
Cool
soon.
beans.
All
Thank you,
right,
man.
Davis, thank you.
Mhm. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And Mr. Perez, can you unmute and tell me how you're doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Good.
How about just
Thank you for asking. I'm fine. We have warrants and I want to resolve them with you. I see a lot of expenses in your life and right now there's not income. So I know you're stressed. What I can offer to do is, I know you offered to pay within 30 days at a reduced amount. I could look at that and here's the thing that happens. When things are taking this long to get resolved, because these are 2012 cases, and I do need to review your pleas on the cases. There's a speeding charge from that time, 83 and a 65 is the accusation, January 2nd, 2012. I did receive a plea of no contest, and then there was a non-appearance in court charge. It's called violating the promise to appear. There's always a court date on the ticket, and there's to show up on time. And obviously we missed that deadline. The fines and costs there are $431.60. And I did receive a plea of no contest to that charge. Is that right?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, hang on one second. I want to check on one possible option. It's not one you've probably seen a lot, but we have a prosecutor memo, or we did, on file. And it was if they plead to the underlying charge, the VPTA could be dismissed.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, whatever. I'm
Yeah, I'm gonna see
here
if we
to
still,
present myself.
if we have that option, then that would just knock you down from 873.60 to 442. If you don't have income at all, we can talk about, if you can't pay it, then I need to know because I can take it into account. But
No,
I have a hold on your license, and I'm sure that was probably a motivating factor to get you in here, which is why we did.
ma'am.
Sorry, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's what we do because it took.
Yeah, no, and I have been wanting to take care of this for a while. Now that I'm unemployed, I have time to take care of the pending responsibilities that I've had. And actually, when I got my income tax, I said half of this, or this amount, I'm gonna see what I can do so we can take care of this, so we can get this over with and done.
Right. It's not income tax season though, so.
No, I've been saving it. I've been saving it for this exact.
Okay, wow. So, okay, so it just took a while to call us.
Yes, ma'am.
Hang on one
Yeah.
second. Mr. Mattson, can I ask you a question that's not related to why you're back in the room?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I have Mr. Perez here, and I am trying to remember, we used to have a policy that was written from you that there's a dismissal available if a person has nothing else and they have an underlying charge and a VPTA, that if they pled to both, you would dismiss the VPTA as long as they dealt with the underlying charge. Is that different now?
That is a good question, Your Honor. I am looking at I believe that's standing motion 11.
Okay. See, I don't think the standing motions Are they in there? I didn't know we had the standing motions in LT, but apparently we do. That's our software program, folks, for. Yes. VPTA. Okay, it looks like we do have that in there. Let me print it and see if, is that how that works? I trust others to do certain jobs. So, and they're better at it than if I tried to do it all.
Delegation, ma'am, delegation.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody's got their part.
That does appear to be the case, Your Honor. As long as the VPTA is connected to the underlying charge, it's not related to a commercial motor vehicle.
Yes.
The person does not have a CDL, and it's the last VPTA within 2 years.
Yes, that's all. It meets the standing order. It's just been such a while since we've had one that I just needed to review it. Okay, Mr. Perez, hold on a moment. I'll explain what I'm proposing in a quick moment. Mr. Mattson, let's talk with Mr. McGraw. I said his name incorrectly, Mr. Morah. I apologize. I said McGraw earlier because, well, I'm used to the singer-songwriter. I missed the name. Okay, so where are we on these matters, Mr. Mattson?
Your Honor, if we could get a setting for final pretrial, that would be great.
Yes, we are set for October 26th at 9 o'clock. That's here in the courtroom.
Okay.
And we'll just put everything there.
Yeah.
However, I will say we are scheduled for jury trial between now and then on
13th.
Yes, on the 13th of September. We have we have a few things. Okay, there are several things that are on pretrial, and those items can move to that new date. There are, okay, hold on.
I think we've got everything straight from this point on. I've been dealing with the police department and Mac Ferry, the deputy chief. He's been working with me on some stuff. And so I think we're to a point now where we can stop all this. And we want to get it all on one thing instead of the whole back and forth thing to help the court in the time. I feel bad about taking up y'all's time.
Well, I mean, no one else is getting paid to be here but us, so don't apologize. But here's the thing, okay, Mr. Morah, I mean, I've got 20 cases. Okay, so I need to get real clear with you and just listen to me carefully.
Yes, ma'am.
I've got a community service order on 2 of your cases, and those hours are due September 12th.
Right.
Are you gonna wait a minute? No,
okay.
wait, no. I'm trying to clarify. Are you gonna hit that target?
No.
Okay, then let's fix that right now. Let me get that order pulled up, okay? Because you can't eat an elephant any way other than one bite at a time. And I do not eat elephants, by the way. But okay. So let me extend that. Do you know where you're doing your hours? Have you picked a provider?
The last time that we spoke, I was going to go to the doctor on all this stuff, and you extended it so that I could make that appointment. At that appointment, it was the first time I'm trying to use my Medicare, and they had a problem getting it verified, the number and everything. So we've got that straight, and I've got another appointment scheduled for the 15th of this month to go to the doctor. But we had a problem with the first time use of Medicare. They couldn't verify it, and they wanted me to pay for it.
We need a little more time for that note. But if I give October 12th, we'll hit the target.
Yeah.
Okay. And if not, then we'll have to revise it.
And that way, it's on the 15th.
Hold on. Quit trying to take charge of the court.
Okay, I'm sorry.
If you can't get that note turned in, you still have a duty to communicate with me and either turn in your hours or tell me what's going on in writing.
Yes,
so that's those 2 cases. Then I have 3 more cases. Those are scheduled for a jury trial. No, I have 4. So there's outside storage from March 27th, April 17th, May 30th, and June 12th. Those are all set for jury trial on September 13th. That's next week. Were you planning on attending your jury trial, or are we doing?
Yeah. If I have a court date, I'll attend.
It's not just a court date; it's a trial.
Yeah.
I mean, 100 people in here to pick the jury for you.
Can we get that moved so that the stuff that is current, we can have it all together? Or is there a way to do that?
Why don't you and Mr. Matson talk about that? Y'all go talk about that again, because
Okay.
you would have to, in my opinion, you would have to be subjecting yourself to a change of plea and not then saying later, no, I want a trial. We're scheduled. We're either going to do it or you're rolling it into some kind of plea deal. You're going to have to get yourself back into that meeting with him.
Okay.
Can you see that on your screen? Because if not, you'll have to hang up and dial back in.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Easier. Just hang up and dial back in.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Judge, while he's doing that, so
Yeah.
he's asking about how many cases are set for trial on the 13th,
4.
and he wants to roll those into the October 26th hearing.
He wants to roll that, onto the pretrial. But I mean, the only way I'm willing to do that is if he changes his plea. Doesn't mean that I'll accept it, but I would want that in writing, because I have now prevented other people from being on that docket. And opportunity wasted over here. We've got people who need trials. So, okay. Mr. Murat, what I was letting Mr. Matson know is y'all need to talk about this, because I would need your plea to change on those pending trial cases. Hold on. And it doesn't mean that he couldn't dismiss them, but you would need to put in writing that you've changed your plea to no contest on those 4 cases, subject to any dismissal options that you guys you folks discuss. But I'm not going to pull them off a jury docket where I've denied other people that date to have their case heard, only to put you back on another docket at a later date. No. Y'all go talk about it. Do you want to talk with him about it? Okay, unmute so he can hear you when I move you over, okay? Okay, let me move you over.
Okay.
It's
Thank
just,
you.
it's more complicated. Okay. Okay, Mr. Perez, I've signed that dismissal on your violating the promise to appear charge, okay?
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, I just try to work with people, and I figure there are other people who still haven't shown up. You're here, so I do try to reward people when they finally get going on what needs to happen, which is responsibility taking, and you're doing that. So I have no problem with it at all. My next question is on the speeding charge. Think about your situation for a second, because I have what you've told me about in writing, and I'm not a giant fan of talking about everybody's personal everything online. I'm not trying to do that to people. It's not a shame game that I'm playing, but I do see expenses, and I see you're helping a parent take care of them. And so my question is paying the $442 within 30 days, that's the total now that we take that one case off. It drops from $873.60 to $442. If you can pay it within 30 days, you're done. Then it takes the moment you pay it, I release your license. And that takes a few weeks to clear with DPS. I mean, I release it electronically pretty much that day, but they take their sweet time. And I have no control over them. Generally, we tell people it's 21 business days. That really translates into almost a month. It's about 3 weeks and 3 days. So, is that an option for you, or do I need to shift to community service for that case?
That is an option. If you were to do community service, since I don't live in Temple, it doesn't have to be in Temple, or it will
No,
be
it
anywhere.
doesn't. It doesn't have to be in Temple.
Perfect.
It turns into 22 hours. Your due date is going to be no later than November 6th, but you can turn it in early and be done faster. I'll recall your warrants, but I do need a signature on a simple form today. Can I email that to you and have you print it and sign it and email it back?
Yes, definitely, definitely.
Okay. Then what you'll find is there's a form in there that you use to get a nonprofit in your area. You have to work with and find one, okay, within 2 weeks, and you just go find a nonprofit. Now, one of the things that gets people hung up is the nonprofit they pick is not up to date on their nonprofit status. So they have to show that on that form. They have to say, yes, we're up to date. You tell them, I want to see that letter, because they get a letter from the state and it gives them, and they have to renew every year. And churches, libraries, schools, if you're allowed to be at schools, you know, church, let's see, food banks, housing authorities, those kinds of places typically have community service options available. The problem people run into is they go, I've been court ordered to do community service, and they immediately think you're talking about a felony. So just ask, I'm working off fines and costs, and the judge is going to credit me for service. And so I just need a service opportunity.
Service opportunity.
Yeah, because if you start saying court ordered, they assume you're a felon. And a lot of them have, you know, prohibitions on that. And if you're not, I mean, I'm not even asking if you're a felon. I assume you're not a felon. Most people aren't, but they assume that you are a felon in that setting. And so I'll get people who go, they're all turning me down, and they're like, I keep trying. And I'm like, oh, well, you're triggering a conversation that you don't realize you're having, because the secret code is that means you're a felon, but it's not true here. Court ordered community service is in addition to fines and costs in a felony setting. In a court like this one, it is in payment of fines and costs. And it sounds like the same thing, but it's not the same thing. So if they ask you, just say I have a traffic ticket, and instead of payment, the judge is taking community service in lieu of payment for my traffic ticket. So I just need a service opportunity, you know.
Yes, ma'am. And as long as they have the, like you said, up to date on the letter.
They fill out a simple form. It's 1 page. They say who they are. They say what you're going to do. And then, you know, it just works into a, you know, you give it to me and I just verify it. And then assuming it's all good, I approve it. And then you're good to go to get your hours done by November 6th. So your due date for that pre-approve is going to be September 27th or 26th.
Got it.
Okay. We'll send all that to you. And there's just one form that you sign saying, I understand it's private. It's not private when I'm out doing community service. I don't have privacy expectations, and the city doesn't carry insurance for me. And then you send that back, and then we just get going. Okay.
Awesome.
If you got it done next week, I would clear your warrant. You know, your warrants go away today, but I would clear the hold on the license.
I'm unemployed, so I have time to do that.
Okay. See you soon, or I will hear from you soon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Perez.
Appreciate you.
You're welcome. You're good to go.
Thank you.
Mr. Matson, can I move Mr. Morale back over?
Yes, Your Honor, you can.
Great. Okay. Okay, where are we on Mr. Morale?
Mr. Murrah has indicated he would like to plead no contest on the 4 cases set in September and have those rolled into the October hearing.
Okay, I can do that. Is that correct, Mr. Morale? You'll have to unmute. Is that correct?
There we go. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, there are the 2 cases, and then there's a third one I see in the middle of my stuff on the outside storage, July 10th. There's a show cause. Is that show cause for non-appearance? It's the July 10th case.
I think I missed a hearing in there somewhere. I do.
Well, see, I have three new charges, August 15th, 17th, and 21st. Then I have a July 10th case. So I'm going to assume that we're going to roll all those to that pretrial date. And then the only two cases I have community service on are your January 5th and January 24th. And I've extended you to October 12th there. So, I mean, let's just keep you out of warrant, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to cancel your jury trial based on your change of plea. I'm setting those onto the equivalent of a sentencing docket for October 26th at 9.
Okay. October 26th.
And anything else that's pending, I'm going to put there.
Okay.
Okay. And that way we can kind of chunk them all forward at once and not have anything go to loose end.
Yes, ma'am.
Because that turns into, you know, a warrant, and that's not our goal.
Thank you.
I'm just making enough notes to know what I did later. Okay, you've got two dates. October 12th for a doctor's note or community service, and October 26th at 9 o'clock to be in the courtroom.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Morrell, we'll see you then.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, you're welcome. And so, Mr. Sandhu, you are next. Can I have you unmute, please? Okay, great. I'm going to move you over to talk to the prosecutor. Okay,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Judge.
I'll take it. Okay, Mr. Leesenby, can you unmute and tell me how you're doing?
I'm doing good. And yourself?
Yes, I'm fine. I do have 3 cases. One has a plea of no contest on a no insurance charge. I'm sorry, there's a no insurance charge. Sorry, I've got some notes. I just need to take a moment to look at them. Okay, there are 3 cases from 2022. All 3 have gone to warrant. They have previous pleas. We've already adjudicated the cases. You've been
Yes,
found
ma'am.
guilty. I can order community service based on the information that you have provided, subject to any restrictions that you have. And if I do that, that's 45 hours. That's giving you triple credit up front. And then also not having a due date until November 6th to either turn in your hours or show me your progress and ask for an extension. I have a list of places where you can do the community service here in the city of Temple. They all are pre-approved on my list. I have a method for approving something that is different. If you want to do something that is not on the list, it needs to be pre-approved within the first 2 weeks. And all I really want to ask you right now, before I just open it up, is do you have, I'm sorry, can you come by today? And if, I'm sorry, what time can you come by today to pick up your, paper?
I can't make it in today. I can be there first thing in the morning.
Why not?
If it's possible. I'm out of town right now in Waco. Trying to get back to work and trying to get everything going straight. Even with the busted up hip like I have in the accident where I was hit on Father's Day, I'm trying to get myself back together and get back to work so I can get everything caught up. Cause I'm at rock bottom right now.
Okay. What time can you be here tomorrow morning?
I can be there before 9 o'clock. I can be there when the doors open.
Okay, we'll look for you between 8 and 9, okay?
Okay.
To come sign and pick up your packet, and it'll be a list of places where you can get the work done, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll see you then. Come on in. Just any clerk can help you when you get here.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Leesenby, and I hope things continue to improve.
They can't get no worse, right?
Never say that.
That's true. But I appreciate your patience and your time, man.
Yes, sir. Just look for those gratitude moments in your life. They'll appear more frequently.
Yes, ma'am. I sure will. Thank you.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Mr. Matson, are we ready to move Mr. Santu back over?
We are.
Great. Okay. Where are we with the single matter of failing to yield right of way?
If we could get a setting for final pretrial, that would be great, Your Honor.
Yes, we are set then for pretrial on October 26th at 9 o'clock.
Thank you, Judge.
We will see you here. That is an in-court setting here in the court building.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to get any email or a mail about this court date.
I'm sorry, what is the question?
Am I going to get any email from you for this court date?
Are we emailing that setting or we can email that? Yes.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you very much.
Yes, sir. We'll email that over to you.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Mr. Matson, I'm moving you forward. Irvin Zavala, can you unmute and tell me how you're doing?
Yes, ma'am. I'm doing good.
Great. I'll move you over to that meeting. Mr. Conklin, can you unmute and tell me how you're doing? Mr. Conklin, can you unmute? I've sent you an unmute request twice and I can't hear you. I can't see you or hear you, so I can't really do court. I can't do court through the chat feature because it's not saved. So I can't see you or hear you. So I'm going to have to ask you to log back in. We're just waiting. Mr. Williams, of course, you're next. He's back on. Let's see if we can connect. Okay, Mr. Conklin, I can see you, but I can't hear you. Mr. Matson? Can I move Mr. Zavala back over?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, where are we on the Zavala case?
If we could get a confirmation of that October 26th hearing date, Your Honor, that would be fantastic.
Yes, October 26th at 9 o'clock. We'll all be here. Mr. Zavala, you'll be here too, okay?
Yes, ma'am. That's in person, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Matson, I'm moving you over to talk with Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams, can you unmute so we can hear you?
Yes, ma'am.
Great, I'll move you over. Mr. Williams, let me try again.
Okay.
Oh, he's picking his nose. Jeez Louise. I am dialing your phone.
Hello?
Mr. Conklin?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is Judge Person. On the thing that we sent you with the link to this meeting today, there are there are written instructions at the bottom for how to dial into the meeting. Hang up and dial into the meeting on your phone, because I'd rather hear you than see you. If I have to choose, that's what it needs to be, because we can't communicate visually. So I'm gonna hang you up on here. I'm gonna hang you up there, and you're gonna dial in using the instructions at the bottom of the email that has the link. You see that?
I'm going back to my, can you see me right now?
I can see you, but I can't move you into the meeting. I mean.
Okay, cool.
So here's the,
man, I'm trying.
yeah, I get that, but it's more than that. We have to do more than try. So
Yes, ma'am.
you have pleaded not guilty. I have scheduled you repeatedly for the next step, which is the step where if you plead not guilty, you're asking for a trial. So this court has a mandatory, you come to court for that.
Okay,
And
I understand now.
I scheduled it and you didn't show up. So the next step is generally a warrant. But you appeared before I signed that warrant. That's fine. But you keep saying, schedule me. I schedule you. You don't show up. And then you go schedule me. No, I'm going to schedule you one more time. That's to be here in the court. And if you don't appear, the answer is I just start putting a warrant out and a hold on your ability to have a license. You need to be here on your court date on time. So I'm telling you now, your court date is a pretrial for October 26th.
Yes, ma'am.
At 9 a.m. You actually have more than a month to figure out how you're going to get here.
Thank you, ma'am.
So you need to be here. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. We'll see.
Man, the court date that you just gave me, this is the extended opportunity to show up to court since I can't figure out this video court.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We'll see you then.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Did you write it down?
Write down the court date.
Yeah.
October 26th at 9 a.m.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right. Mr. Williams, where are we with this matter? Mr. Mattson?
Your Honor, Mr. Williams would like to speak with you, but he is muted.
There.
He's unmuted at this time, so we're good. Okay.
I'd like to change my plea to no contest and ask you grant me defensive driving.
Oh. Does the state have any objection to defensive driving?
No, Your Honor.
It's 20 over, so it's still in the ballpark of qualifying. When we do that, we pay the court costs, which are I believe 149. Let me double check.
It should be 134, Your Honor. That's what I show.
More, okay. Court costs for driver safety. Right, so yeah, there's an added amount that happens for driving safety. It's either $10 or $12. I just need to check. Let me get a total. If we get there, can you show license and insurance today?
Yes, ma'am. I don't have my insurance on me. It's down in my vehicle, but I can I can go get it.
There's, oh, I just have one. I have a single charge of speeding on here. Was there a fail to signal a case that you've already pled to perhaps?
There was a warning for that, Your Honor.
Oh, let me look at that too. Because we have it entered. I'll look at that, but. We have a note gave to Dana to Boyd.
Okay, no, it's just one.
Yeah, we're in process of making sure that goes away.
Thank you.
But what we're trying to find out is the court costs. So it's just been a little while since I've had to look at them. It should be 144, I believe, but. Is okay. It is 134. And so you would need to either come by the court or email in your license and insurance today, and then
Okay.
go online and pay the 134. Can we do all that today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you are in Waco, so you're going to do this online?
Correct.
Okay, we'll send you the form and you print it and sign it and email it back with license and insurance, and then go online and pay the court costs or call a clerk and pay it. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And I will approve it.
Okay.
That will keep it off your record, which, it's neither here nor there, but that's probably what I would do. Okay, all right, okay. So we have marching orders. You'll have that in your inbox here within the next probably half hour. And then just follow up and complete the process. Then you'll have 90 days. There'll be a flyer for how to find the right course and the right record. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.